On behalf of all the family and friends of Wyatt James Colvard and all of us at the High-Fives Foundation, we thank you for your generous donation towards Wyatt's Pieces Fund, a fund established to provide underprivileged athletes with a helmet to participate safely in the winter action sports. For more information, please contact us at office@highfivesfoundation.com.
What draws us to the park, I think, is that it's just so free. Whatever you can conceive in your mind, you can do.
You know, you can build a park anywhere in the country with a couple 100 feet of vert. You don't need a Alaskan peak, and you don't need 2 feet of powder. All the kids out there having that type of access, it spreads the stoke. They've got features to ride. They can learn how to do all the same stuff that all these pros are doing.
It's kind of nice to just be able to go to any park at any resort and be able to ride and have fun. Even if the snow conditions are bad, you can still always ski park.
It really is just about having fun, and you go out there and you have the same features as they do at some of the major resorts, and these kids are having a good time, just having fun.
But at the end of the day, I think every mom and dad, every little kid, every hardcore and every mainstream person, when they go strap skis on or a snowboard, they want to just go have fun. And the more terrain, the more variety of the terrain, the more fun they're going to have.
So just roll in, roll it to the edge, and then carve that turn across.
You know, snowboarding's come a long way since it first started. I began in '83, and in fact, at first, we couldn't even buy lift tickets and ride the lifts. We had to hike all the way up. After that, it was just a gradual process of mountains becoming more snowboard friendly, building tiny little jumps, building tiny little half pipes.
Everyone wanted to do things on their snowboard like they do on their skateboard, and they wanted to get more air, they wanted to slide rails and things like that. And so suddenly the mountains were like, okay, let's make some parks, and they were called snowboard parks. And skiers weren't allowed in the snowboard park.
In kind of the beginning of terrain parks, I'd say that you sort of got what you got. Today, the technology with snowcrowd equipment is far more advanced. The amount of dedicated snowmaking to a terrain park effort has definitely dramatically increased.
Gradually, the design of the jumps and the design of the half pipes got better, which allowed them to become bigger.
And so with a gigantic canvas like a mountain, you've got this opportunity to start building a lot of different types of features.
Skiing was in desperate need of a change, and snowboarding kind of helped piggyback skiing into the freestyle world, and people like Jason Leventhal, who started to be like, why can't we do stuff on skis that people are doing on a snowboard?
You know, like, you're literally figuring out how to go backwards, let alone being able to do it at, 30 miles an hour into a 100-foot jump.
It's the way it is. I mean, this is brutal. And you can just watch any of these competitions to see these athletes go down or go through an injury list. And if you don't want to get injured, then you shouldn't be in this sport. But if you accept the fact that that's the case, you want to do whatever you can to protect yourself and give yourself an opportunity to enjoy the sport as long as you can. It's important. It's really important.
Roy and I moved here because of the mountains, because of the skiing, not only skiing, but biking and hiking and the sense of adventure here. That's why we all live here.
Yep. We're gonna work on Vermont and Tahoe presentations right now is what we're really gonna focus on.
Until we have that ambassador conversation for reaching out.
I got a job right away with the Squaw Valley freestyle team. A month later, he came out and he got a job at Sugar Bowl. And he was down with his Sugar Bowl coaches down in Mammoth skiing. And that's when the injury happened.
It's just Moortown School. Here you go.
From what I hear, he cleared the jump by 100 feet or something. Immediately paralyzed him. He wasn't gonna let it get him down or hold him down or keep him down. He was gonna get out there, he's gonna rehab, he's gonna do his best to prove the doctors wrong that he will walk again and ski again.
After Roy's injury, he had a ton of community support, and he really wanted to give back to that community that helped him get to where he was.
I'm getting my liners fit by Jeff. Roy's hooking me up here.
Third weekend of Sunday Fun Day with High Fives. We're here with Steve Wallace, our first scholarship athlete. Steve is out here relearning how to ski. After Steve broke his back, it really was amazing to get him back to the sport he loved and back onto snow through a High Fives Winter Empowerment Grant.
What happened is there's some bumps over there, and my legs started wobbling, and I went down, bro. I went down.
Grind!
High Fives has come a long way since my first experience with them. Steve Wallace was the first recipient. Now they've helped, what, over 60 athletes?
We had no idea it was going to be this impactful to this many athletes. One of the big things for us was, we don't want to just support injured athletes.
We want to educate skiers and snowboarders so that they make smart decisions and these types of injuries can be avoided. And then there's two jumps. Rolled the first one, rolled the second one, came into the bottom and just went so large. I didn't speed check the jump, just, too much air. Way too much air, way too much speed.
come in here and speed check this jump, see how we're looking?
I think it's really important to check out the park every day, really. The snow conditions can change. There's a time when you may have to step back from a jump sometimes and make the right call if the conditions aren't good.
It's a little bit firm this morning, so we're probably gonna wait a couple runs to let it soften up, let the wind hopefully die down a little bit before we start hitting this baby.
Checking your speed is pretty important because conditions can change at any time.
So we've scoped out the rails from afar. They're pretty fresh, so we're gonna take a run through, see how they slide. All right, we're dropping in here to this first down rail. Let's see how it feels. You good? We got the second down rail. Woo! All right, down sliding pretty good. We got a down flat down coming up. Okay. Looks like we got a down flat rail coming up. Oh, nice. Took note of the firmness of the snow, the wind, and how fast it is. And I think I got a pretty good idea of what kind of speed to take into this. So we're gonna hit it for the first time, take it easy, just do a mellow straight air and throw a little safety grab in there. All right, that felt really good. It's actually softening up a little bit, pretty stoked.
When you're skiing in the park, it's really important that you watch the flow you're going through. If you ever choose to stop on a feature, pay attention to what's uphill of you.
You think you're in a spot where you might be in someone's way, you probably are.
Guys, watch out on the knuckle. People are coming off this jump. You gotta get out of here. You're gonna get killed. Get off the windies.
And it's very true that, you know, by giving respect, you gain respect.
Like this guy, he's flowing through that side. He probably won't cross to here, but you should still wait a second and see.
I'm Garada Dali. I'm a park skier from New York originally. Now I live in Park City, Utah. March 2nd, 2013, I went to Big Bear, California for a competition called War of Rails. There's this feature, this big up rail to maybe a 40-foot gap. Took a little too much speed on my first hit. I caught a tailwind up before and sent it almost to the fence. When the doctor told me what was wrong, the broken pelvis on both sides, as well as the compression fractures in my back, I'm like, man, this is not good. Like, am I gonna be paralyzed? They put me in traction and put me through surgery, and when I woke up, the doctor came back and was like, man, you moved your leg when I asked you, that's incredible.
After Garai reached out to us and became part of the High Fives family, we gave him the support that he needed to get back out there and do the stuff he loves to do. The grant that he received provided him with the services, physical therapy, acupuncture, and personal training.
Really, I credit so much of my successful rehab to that.
Are you sure you broke your pelvis?
Must not have. What I would feel like after those sessions was amazing. I started to jump on the water ramps, and that was like the most memorable day of my life almost. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this again.
It's really no secret that the best guys out there, like, they work their butts off.
Just get such good air awareness on the train. It's unbelievable how much you learn, or you can learn in one day, 1 week, 1 month. It's crazy.
I think it's great these days that we have the water ramps and the trampolines and these on-snow airbags, because it just gives the riders more tools to learn and get better. All the individual athletes have their preference of which one they're more comfortable with and what works best for their learning style. You know, the airbags are one area where it's really expanded, and it's really nice because you're on snow, using a snow takeoff. You know, the rotations have become more, you know, more flipping, more spinning all around. I think it's become, you know, that much more important to be able to learn and like aspire to learn these tricks and have a way to do it where they try it and progress into it and actually get ready to do it on snow and then go for it and do it on snow.
The bag, I think you're taking off and looking back down at the bag like right away. So let's get off. Major takeoff and just focus on the horizon out there.
I think coaching in general has really come around full circle these days.
If you just kept it open a little bit more, it would come around.
One reason because you have riders that have been involved since the beginning and have helped develop a lot of these tricks, and then they're giving back and able to help these kids and show them the right way to learn and the right steps to take in how to learn how to do these tricks.
Put those heels out there a little bit more.
The level of skiing being so high these days, you know, the coaching can be a real advantage just as far as motivation and, you know, keeping people going in the right direction, and a good environment helps a lot as well.
Cody!
They ski 6-7 hours a day. You know, it's one of the best ways to get better is just logging time on your skis. You may not see it behind the scenes with a lot of these guys, but they ski a lot. More than you could possibly imagine sometimes.
Cody was actually on a trip with his friends snowboarding when he was injured. He had been eyeing up a jump all day, and perhaps it was out of his comfort zone.
The lift goes right up over the top of the park, and there's a particular jump that was there and was built, and of course I've always wanted to hit one and feel the feeling of that kind of air. I saw one kid go off and he just was so smooth in the air, and I thought, I want to feel that, I got to do this.
I think understanding your ability and where you're at in your progression is probably one of the most important things for a rider. Just to know, you know, where your limit is, and if you want to push that a little bit, but not to the point where you're out of your element or you're really just risking injury.
It all happened so fast that I don't really remember what specifically was the problem. I fractured both of my hips and broke 3 vertebrae in my neck. There wasn't much to it other than, you know, he's asking me to move my legs and I can't do that. And then he starts, you know, asking me if I can feel his fingers, and I can't do that.
He's had a truly remarkable recovery. He's maintained his positive attitude, he's worked hard, he's accomplished every goal that's been put in front of him. He's back on his feet now, and he's there for his family.
In terms of advice, it would be to just work up to it. Even if it's throughout your whole skiing career, but also in the day, you know, you've got to start to warm up for that day, whether you start hitting the smaller jumps and then, you know, the medium-sized jumps and then the larger jumps towards the end of the day.
You did the right thing, you just went early.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to get a frontside double cork. I don't bounce so well, so I've hurt myself quite a few times trying it. So this is great to try it on the airbag first.
You get a couple of good ones, go. And the other thing is that it trivializes something that's difficult, which is what you want to do.
Yeah.
You don't want to put this trick on a pedestal,
No.
You want to bring it down to size.
Put it in the work today, just trying to get the double cork again.
Make sure conditions are right, and when they're right, the light is green and you go. Good job, man. Good job. A little cleaner takeoff, and you got it.
Last year, I was doing a training run at Stratton, Vermont. I went off the second air and I landed square on my neck. I had broken my C5 vertebrae with something called a teardrop fracture.
A lot of those individuals end up with either, as I said, quadriparesis or quadriplegia. In his case, that subluxation probably did not cause a significant injury to the spinal cord. And so, yes, he was very lucky.
Doctor came in and he says that the back brace that I was wearing had actually saved my life.
Just like a helmet, back protectors are designed to minimize the amount of force and impact that the athlete or the user feels and receives upon an impact.
Here at Sugarbush, our parks are definitely a big draw to our mountain.
Yeah, so we got some guys coming in tonight and they're gonna help me put it in a down, flat down and just a double barrel.
It takes a lot of work to create and maintain the parks, but it's all worth it when the riders show up and they're stoked on the features.
Yeah, last night the park crew and Juice came in just after closing and brought up the new feature, Candy Grind Down Flat Down. It's a flat square bar, but it's one of the more popular features that we have in our park. The cattle come in at night and do the bulk of the big maintenance with the jumps and prepping the snow and getting it ready. And then every morning they'll come in and take all of the soft snow that Justin had pushed up and then just meticulously and methodically go through the park and make sure everything's perfect. We have a very unique situation where we have a lift that's dedicated exclusively to the parks, and there's constant exposure for the riders in our park, which sort of allows for a stronger community.
It's nice because it's more of like a community over there.
Everyone sort of comes together, rides together.
You're lapping the park, you're seeing all your friends, everyone's having a good time.
It's really fun that you can go into Sugarbush and you don't have to hit rails if you don't want to. You can always stop, you can just butter in the park and no one's judging you.
Instead of getting caught up in bigger is better, we recognize the average level of riders that come into this park and we build according to that.
We are aiming to be different, but we're also just aiming to, you know, do what we do, and that's skate style setups.
I think that's the biggest thing for most people around here is just like people who are down. Everyone will be down with them too, you know? Shared passion.
I love park skiing. It's what I do for a living, and I want to be doing it for a really long time. I want to have longevity, and I always take that mindset into every day, whether I'm hitting a jump for the first time or skiing a contest or just skiing in the park with my friends, or I'm trying to learn a new trick. I mean, I'm always kind of balancing that risk and reward, and it's really impressive to see an athlete go for a long time, you know, without having any major injuries. And that's one of my goals too, is to just ski for as long as I can and produce a lot of cool stuff, learn new tricks, do well in contests. And just have fun. Just have fun too. And know your park. #KnowYourPark.